Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grelle on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. Angela Grelle is the Vice President of Marketing for CannaCon, the nation's leading business-to-business cannabis conference. If you're interested to see what CannaCon is all about, come check it out this weekend, March 31st and April 1st in Oklahoma City. I'll be there too, so say hi. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Angela Grelle. Hey, sis. You're now listening to the Feminized podcast. Thank you for joining the Feminized podcast, Angela. I'm excited to have you on. We have women from all walks of the cannabis industry on this podcast because it's more fun just talking to women, in my opinion. But there are so many just strong women who are essentially building their empires and don't have time to do PR and marketing for themselves. And so really, this is the purpose. I want to give you a platform to shout from the rooftops how amazing CannaCon is. And of course, you yourself as well, because, you're a big part of that. So that's kind of the overall. If I ask you a question, you're like, I don't want to answer that. No big deal. I'm going to edit everything. So it's going to be a beautiful video and we're going to drop before.
I'm a pretty open book. So there probably won't be a question I won't answer.
Well, perfect. So why don't we just start at the beginning? What brought you to cannabis, Angela?
Well, I was a consumer in my younger years, and after a lot of childhood trauma, I feel like cannabis really was my mental health drug. I didn't know it at the time, but it was. And as I got older, I realized that. And then I had children who had health issues and mental health issues, and they kind of went down that same road as young adults. And living in a state that is, not legal, I was constantly worried about, are they going to go to jail? Are they going to get in trouble? Is this going to ruin their whole life? Not get into the college they want to get into, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Because they get caught with a joint in their car, Yeah.
And so you took the job with CannaCon because of that. That's just fascinating. Tell me more.
So, honestly, it was really, my youngest son had graduated high school, so the timing was great. My brother needed somebody to come in and kind of help out. The company was just starting to really grow and take off. And it was just a perfect opportunity for me to, first of all, pull my children out of a state where I had to be concerned with them going to jail. Mm-hmm. Because CannaCon is based out of Washington. So we picked up and we moved to Washington State, and I started the job, and much relief as a parent to not have to worry about,
Yeah, your kid getting taken right in and thrown in jail. Right. It happens all the time in Texas.
Yeah, it does. And now I'm back in Texas. So
but they're not kiddos anymore, are they?
They don't live here. They didn't come back. The kids were like, if you're moving back to Texas, we are not. So I've got one in Oklahoma, one in Washington State.
They stayed with the cannabis.
Yeah.
They're like, Mom, you were onto something. We're going to stick it out. Wow. So how long have you been with CannaCon officially?
It has been 5 years now. It's been almost 5 years now.
Oh my gosh. How long has the organization been? That seems like it's been around for about 5-6 years.
No, I think they've been around for 7 years. I think that they were around for a couple years before I started.
Okay.
Mainly just doing their main original show in Seattle.
Okay.
Which we don't even do anymore. So
wow. Okay. So CannaCon, give me a little bit about the history of CannaCon, because I feel like a couple of years ago, it just kind of burst on the scene. And what I was most excited about was that it's regional. It goes to different regions of the country, which I feel like is just a complete no-brainer when you're talking about growing.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of been our focus right from the beginning. We're a small family-run company. My brother owns the company. My son works for the company. My brother's son My nephew is our general manager. His wife is basically like my partner in everything. She does more things than I can mention. Cassie runs most everything. So she's
Awesome.
another amazing woman working in the industry.
We'll have to get her on the podcast.
Yeah. So, being a family run industry, and most of our family has ties to the cannabis industry. My brother Bob was a grower for a long time, really pushed for legalization in Washington state where he was living, was big in the movement, worked with Hemp Fast, all of that. And he also, for his career, worked in the expo and trade show industry, traveling around doing sales at different trade shows. And so he saw such an opportunity for a business to business trade show in the cannabis space. And that's how CannaCon started.
Oh, I love it.
In his basement with a couple of iPads and went to work.
Yeah, like I know these people want to connect, and they want to connect in a casual setting. And he did it. He absolutely did it. So 7 years later, how many states is CannaCon in? How many CannaCons have you had? Like, brag a little bit about how far you guys have come.
I can't even count how many CannaCons we've had at this point. A lot. But this year, I think we will be in 6 states. We'll be in Oklahoma, Michigan, Illinois, Virginia, Mississippi, and we're working on New Mexico and Colorado this year as well.
Oh, whoa, in Colorado. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're very excited about that. And I think we like doing these more regional events because we want to go to where the growers are. I know there's a couple of bigger shows that do just like one main event, and, people will travel to that. We try and make it a little more affordable and easier. And it also makes a difference with, every state has different regulations. And so when we come in and do seminars, we really want to focus on what people need to know in that area, because every place is so different and regulations are so different in every different state. As soon as somebody legalizes and they pass legalization, every state has completely different rules and regulations on what you need to do to be compliant.
Right, absolutely. And so if I'm putting myself in the position of a grower, say, we'll use MJBizCon as an example, because we love MJBizCon. They're great. They were just acquired. It's a success. But, as a grower, if I were to travel to MJBizCon, to make meaningful connections, I'm sure that I would, but it would be out of my home state, potentially, unless I lived in Nevada. And I'd be meeting these experts who might not even be able to help me in my home state. And that's actually one thing that we've heard from growers about these conferences, is that they're great. You learn about good products, but the real value is meeting the folks who are the experts in licensing, applications, who know the rules inside and out. These are usually the folks who are, speaking at these regional events, right?
Right. Yeah. And we do bring national brands in for the expo floor. So you're going to see all of the same companies that you're going to see somewhere like MJBizCon, the Futurollas and the Grow Generations and,
Raw.
Extraction. Yeah. Raw and all the big extraction companies and Zigzag and all of those guys will be at our show too. They'll just be closer to home.
Yeah. This is, it's incredible. It's like you're bringing the cannabis culture and cannabis community to these regions that are just blowing up, with excitement around, I think, home grow, and then obviously commercial grow and the business opportunity that comes with cannabis. So well done. Seems like a massive undertaking though. So you said you started with just Seattle. How did it grow from just Seattle, which is, beautiful, it's Emerald State, Washington's where cannabis is? How'd you grow to nationwide?
I mean, I think as more states started to legalize, we just saw the need and the opportunity to do this in other states, and we just started doing it. We really just would book a convention center and start making phone calls and advertising, and And it's
just doing it.
grown from there. And it's been really fun actually to watch. You go to a state maybe 6-8 months after they've passed legalization and everything is new for them. And that, people are, really green and they don't know exactly what they're doing. And then you go back, like, we're about to do Oklahoma again, and you go back a few years later and it's a completely different dynamic. And we try and change, some of our seminars and stuff to match where they're at as well. So now we'll probably have more on marketing and growing your business and, the newer technology and the bigger extraction equipment, because that's where they're at now. Where at the beginning we were talking more about compliance and how to get a license and how to get started. And it's fun. It's fun to see the same people too, year after year. I feel like you make friends, and
yes. Oh, wow. And you get to check in on how everything's going. And I know last year you were stressed out about just getting your grow started. What's stressing you out this year? How can we help? Yeah. I love the community that you're building. That's really what it sounds like to me, that not only are you having these events where the farmers are and in these new markets, but you're bringing them together and they're meeting each other. They're making friends with each other and they're supporting each other. I mean,
I think, one of my favorite things about doing this is that sense of community, because the cannabis industry really does have no matter what state you're in, it is such a sense of community everywhere as a whole. And it's nice. It's not like, I came from big box retail and from fine jewelry and from real estate. And it's working for large corporations in that industry is completely different than working in this industry. And it's just a nice change of pace. Everybody is working towards the same goal,
Yeah. And it's, mission driven work. It's not just how can I make this widget faster than my competitor, but we're talking about medicine here. We're talking about, a plant that heals, you yourself, the plant called to you early on in life, to help you through those, wild early adult feelings or what have you, and that's still what we're working with today, still what you're seeing today. These farmers are coming in and they want to help their communities.
Yeah.
That must feel so good for you, Angela.
It is nice. It's really nice. And on top of that, you see the economic benefit that cannabis brings to places too. So, like here in Texas, one of my biggest frustrations is just why won't they legalize here? Texas would be such a huge market.
Yeah.
So much income would come in. We could fund the schools, fix the roads, all these things that we struggle with, all the things that most states struggle with,
Yes, I know.
Take the burden off the police. I'm in Dallas. We have a constant battle over, there's not enough police to come out. If somebody robs your house, they might be there in 2 hours. Yeah. And it's like, well, because you're wasting all your time.
That's right. You're wasting all your time and you're wasting your resources.
Yeah.
So it's time. It's not just human bodies not at your house when they need to be, but it's $311 million in 2019 was spent in Texas on enforcing low-level possession charges. Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's insane. So what element of CannaCon, and maybe it varies from state to state, but I guess rather than asking a super specific question, we'll start high level. What are the categories that an attendee can expect to find at CannaCon?
I mean, I like to say everything from seed to sale. So we really do have everything. We have seed vendors, soil, nutrients, lights, everything you need to grow, all the way up to point of sale systems, dispensary display cases. And then beyond that, you're going to find accountants, you're going to find insurance agents, you're going to find marketing people who can help you with your marketing and branding and packaging. Really, literally anything at all that you could need to grow your cannabis business, we will have at CannaCon on the show floor.
Oh, I love it. The true home of the grower. So everything you need, plus the regional knowledge and expertise that you need to have a successful a successful company and a successful grow. I mean, I think that's the key that, you know, you probably won't find at any other trade show, B2B trade show. I mean, there will be experts certainly, but then you may have to like search out the experts in your state. Like we'll say, well, just, you know, if you're MJBiz, you know, I'm looking for somebody who works in Texas, you know, I mean, the whole country is at MJBiz.
Right.
Oh
No, I mean, I love their show. It's fun.
Me
There's
too.
so many parties and it's a great time.
Oh yeah, it's a wild time. It's definitely a wild time. Then again, like,
so
yeah, exactly. But you know, you put yourself in the shoes of the grower, and it's a huge undertaking. It's a massive risk. You're putting your whole heart and self into this operation, and you know, who knows if there were people in your family who maybe turned their back on those growers because they're growing wacky tobacco. You know, like there's a lot that goes on, I think, for growers. And just knowing, you know, that you've created a spot for them, specifically for them. And that's another thing I love about the marketing messaging that CannaCon uses. I've never personally been to a CannaCon, and I'm so excited to get there in October in OKC.
I know, I'm excited for you to come. I'm very excited.
It's gonna be amazing.
Finished finalizing Raekwon with Wu-Tang Clan. So he's doing a seminar on Friday the 1st. I'm very excited. He works with a company, I think he's part owner of a company called Citizen Grown, which I love their mission and what they do. So I'm very excited to have him out.
Congratulations.
And another amazing woman working in the weed industry, Deepa, who also is with Citizen Grown. She's the one who connected us. And I don't know if you know what they do, but basically their whole mission is to they take grow tents, like full functioning grow tents that somebody can put in their home and very easily grow some plants. And then they have a company, they have one in Oklahoma, one in Michigan, from my understanding right now, that then purchases that product back from them. So then these lower income families have kind of an extra income, like just a passive income that comes in every month from the sale of this cannabis that they're growing. So it's helping the Citizen Grown as a company, because they're getting quality, you know, they have control over the quality of the product that they're buying, but it's also helping these lower income families because now they have a passive income.
Yes. Oh God, now they have a passive income, and
it's great.
It's great. You know, this type of passive income is much different than any other type of passive income, because it's like an energy that you're getting back from the plant as you're growing it too. So, oh my God, I have chills, Angela.
Yeah, I love what they're doing. I'm so excited that they're going to come talk about it. They have a female grower in Oklahoma, which is not common. No. So she's going to talk to, which I love. I love that they have a female grower that's running their team out there.
Absolutely. I'm going to have her on Feminized. We're going to have to set up a live recording at CannaCon. And I'm going to have to sit down with her and just hear, you know, her story. God, yeah. Cause Oklahoma, I mean, growing in general is male dominated, right? I bet you know much better than I do. Okay. Cause you're all around the country on a regular basis, meeting with these folks. But you know, women in Oklahoma, I think it's even fewer women will grow, I think, in the southern states. I mean, would that be accurate? Would you say that's an accurate?
No, I think it is. I mean, I think just in general, there's not a lot of women growers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's any farm, right? There's not a lot of women farmers.
Right.
It's just not.
Yeah. It's, you know, what I found, and I guess, you know, I mean, we think about it's only 2022. Okay. We haven't, you know, been around as a, you know, civilized society for that long, civilized, right? And, you know, we play our roles. Our women are the domestics, and our you know, our men would go out and hunt and kill and bring it back. And honestly, that's kind of what I feel like we're working out of that, versus women not necessarily having the aptitude or the interest or anything like that. I mean, you know, come on, we're the nurturers, right? If anybody can grow something, it's us.
I agree. I think that women play a very important role in the cannabis industry. I think cannabis as a product is such a nurturing plant, and there's so much like love that comes from it, not to be
Yes.
too out there, but
Yeah.
but there is, it helps people in so many different ways, and even just non-medically, but like I like to have a glass of wine sometimes. It calms me down.
Yeah.
It's like you might want to smoke a joint sometimes. It recreationally, I think that's fine too. Like
Right.
I see no problem with it.
Right. Why would we have a problem with something that somebody wants to do recreationally, for their own health and well-being? We're not talking about fentanyl,
No.
which
Or
is,
alcohol for that matter.
yeah, alcohol.
Let's be honest.
Yep. Let's be honest. We know for a fact that alcohol shrinks our brain when we are imbibing, but yet I do love that glass of wine at the end.
Me too. Me too.
And it's okay. And it's okay. It's about moderation. It's
Right.
about choices. It's about making intentional decisions. And it's not okay to keep this plant out of the conversation just because we've had, century of really, really horrible marketing.
I agree. And it's even been hard for me sometimes working in this industry as a female and as a mother and a wife. If I'm at something with my husband at a company event and people say, "What do you do for a living?" And I say, "Oh, I work in the trade show industry." And they say, "What kind of trade shows?" I really have to like stop and think twice before I answer that question, because I don't want it to affect his career. I don't
Right.
want people to
Of course.
think something, I don't know what, but how
Yeah.
people are, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I know how people are, and I know how people have been taught to think. And so, God, what the added burden for you to, because you want to protect your husband's pristine reputation, and you just never know what kind of brain you're working with on the other side. Being able to say, I work in cannabis, I work in trade shows. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. That industry is blowing up. How exciting.
Yes.
That I think would be the appropriate response.
Yes.
But unfortunately, what you do get in Texas is, oh my God, the wacky tobacco.
I'm really trying hard, and it is hard sometimes to do it, but I'm really trying hard to just say, I work in the cannabis industry. This is what we do,
Yes.
And our shows are pretty buttoned up. Like, we're a non-smoking event. We're not, an event where everybody's outside smoking or partying. That's not,
it's not a cannabis cup. It's not a High Times cannabis cup. Yeah.
And those events are great too, but
Right.
that's not what,
Yeah.
And I think part of why I like what we do so much is because it does show that this is a business, just like any other business. If you're running a dispensary or a packaging facility or a processing facility, you're running a business. Just like if you were packaging makeup, or if you were packaging corn, or you were packaging whatever else it is, we use all the same equipment as any other packaging place does, right? Like, it's all the same. We have Train air conditioning exhibits with us, ADT security exhibits with us. We've had Sprint phone services exhibit with us. Like, all of these mainstream companies are doing business in this industry. A lot of the big payroll processing companies have exhibited with us, but they don't like to talk about it because they don't want to be associated with the industry. So it's like,
oh my God. So they're like, okay, so we're going to take a booth and we're going to.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Don't put our logo on the website. But they understand that there's thousands and thousands of businesses that need payroll processing.
Right. Well, again, why are we being penalized as a cannabis industry because of bad marketing? Yeah. That's it. It is. That's it. So, so good, Angela. I'm glad that you are, we all take our own journeys, and we all have to make our own decisions, especially when we're Texas cannabis advocates and we work in the industry. But I am proud of you. I'm proud of you for going there and saying cannabis.
Yeah.
You have any questions?
Honestly, 90% of people are very interested.
Right.
The majority of the United States is pro cannabis and pro-legalization.
Yes. Yes. Period. And that's a fact. And so what you probably see when you say that are people like with relief, like, oh yay, it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I get the question constantly, when do you think Texas will legalize? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Ask them this when they ask you that, because I know people probably ask you all the time, just as they ask me all the time. I ask them when the last time they took part in an election was. Who is your representative and where do they stand on cannabis? Because I can't tell you when we're going to legalize. I can only tell you I know who supports it. And if they don't get enough votes, we won't get it.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. It's not a crystal ball. It's not a bunch of Brads and Chads in a room making decisions. It really is. And I use that term with all the love in my heart, but it is voting in Texas.
You have to vote. It's so important. It is so important, not just for cannabis legalization, but for everything. If you want to complain about something, the way our government runs, then you need to be involved. And being involved on the local level, I'm going to get on my politics rant, being involved on the local level is so important, because that's where things start. If we don't get involved on the local level and we don't vote for our city council members, our school board members, our congressmen, our state representatives, all the way up the line, we're not going to be able to change things.
No, because Texas, a lot of people from the outside looking in, and I'm sure you hear this a lot because you're just all over the country. Texas is a different animal. It's a different beast, and we don't need the revenue. And I'll say it again. I think we need the revenue. I think we need all the revenue, the revenue. But our state legislators don't believe that we need the revenue. I mean, we're the 9th largest GDP in the world. We just surpassed Brazil, as Greg Abbott likes to remind us. So let's get better. Let's get bigger. Let's get stronger.
I know, that's what I don't understand. It's like, that's great. Now let's do more, right? Like, I think Oklahoma, I know they're working on passing recreational cannabis in Oklahoma. And I can guarantee you thousands and thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of Texans will be driving to Oklahoma and spending their money there, just like they do at the casinos in Oklahoma.
That's right. Oh my gosh. It's just right up the road too. It's like just too easy, And so my fear though, is, as Texans, we live in a great state. It is a beautiful state. I don't mean to bash Texas. I'm a Texan till I die. Right. But, we're complacent, because we could also say, well, I could vote, but then I could just go to Oklahoma and get that fire. So that's but I mean,
then what's going to happen is all these people coming back from Oklahoma, that's going to be a big issue, because then the police are just going to start pulling people over coming back into the state.
Random check stops. I bet we have check stops. Like Texas is definitely not above doing just random stops, guys. We have 4 or 5 law enforcement agencies that run Texas, not just sheriffs and police. So we've got a lot of manpower there. So yeah, you're right. I mean, we have to legalize. We have to legalize in Texas.
We do.
To get on par, man. Okay, so I ask all of my guests, Angela, the same 3 questions.
Okay.
Just because they're fun questions. And so feel free to give them some thought. They're not necessarily quick fire, but first question is this. Tell me, who's in your dream smoke circle? Dead or alive? 3 people.
Willie Nelson.
Yes.
Just because, he's like the OG. Gotta do that.
Gotta do that. Great answer, number 1. Good answer.
I would love to smoke with Barack Obama. Not sure if he would smoke with me, but wouldn't that be an interesting sit down?
Wow. That would be fascinating. Yes.
And then maybe, so alive or dead? Oh, there's so many people.
I know.
So many people. Maybe one of like the great artists, like Picasso or somebody like that, would be really interesting to sit down with.
Yeah, sit down with, and enjoy a little herb and Open your mind. Oh,
Be
I
a
love
great
that.
philosopher. Wouldn't that be cool? Like one of the great philosophers would be cool to sit and smoke with.
It would be, oh God, that conversation would go on all night. There would
Yeah.
never be an end to it. What strain would you smoke with them?
I don't know. I'm really not a strain specific kind of person.
Okay, yeah.
I'm a flavor person. Like I like certain flavors, like I like a lot of like pinene and
oh yeah, okay. That's your jam. So maybe a Girl Scout cookie.
maybe.
Awesome. Okay, so question number 2. What other woman is really inspiring you in the cannabis industry today?
Oh boy, that's another hard one. Deepa from Citizen Grown. I think she's amazing. I love what she's doing.
Yes.
Um,
Can't wait to meet her.
I think people like you who are really like working towards really putting the word out there and being informative and, pushing. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Cassie, my coworker,
Yeah.
she's not even a consumer. I mean, an occasional consumer, but like she is really like, she holds things together. So
Wow. Well,
I have to give her props.
you definitely. Well, I mean, clearly she holds things together. You hold things together because you've got this just massively successful B2B cannabis conference that you're growing and cultivating in the, pun intended. Pun's always intended when it comes to weed. But, this conference that you're cultivating and bringing people together, more and more women are having their eyes open to this industry because of you, Angela. Truly, you are my hero. I mean, I have lots of women heroes in the space and women doing amazing things, but the thing that you're doing is really massive. You're throwing the biggest party and inviting everyone to come and learn, in a way that is not intimidating, and in a way that makes me feel like I am welcome. That's always kind of been the CannaCon vibe from what I've seen and from what I've heard from folks who are like in love with the conference. So I'm excited.
We really try hard to make sure that everybody is welcome and everybody has access. We try to keep our ticket prices really reasonable for that specific reason, because we want, if you're just home growing 2 plants in your garage because you want your own product to smoke, or maybe you're trying to treat, whatever your ailment is with your own product, and you don't, maybe you can't afford to fly to Las Vegas and buy a $600 ticket, but you can probably spend, $30 and come to CannaCon and walk the show floor and get samples. And, everybody goes home with a bag full of samples of soils and nutrients and all the things, and they get to meet people and chat and have a good time. Or if you're running a giant, 100,000 plant grow, you can come and find all the stuff you need for that too. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's something for everyone. And if you are a consumer of cannabis, I have to say this time and time again, these trade shows are for you. If you love cannabis and you want to be closer to it, you got to go to these trade shows so you can meet the people who are actually bringing the product to market, learn about soils. It just makes you a better consumer when you're meeting with the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's also great for people who maybe are interested in working in the industry, because you really get to see a lot of different job types, like, oh, I could do this in the industry. Like, I never thought I had skills to work in the cannabis industry, but I have marketing and PR skills. And so it was like, oh, well, maybe I do, right? Like, everybody needs somebody to do their marketing. We have a wonderful woman-owned company actually that does our website for us, CannaSite, and those women are amazing. And they do websites. They could be doing websites for anybody, but they work in the cannabis industry, you know?
Yes. I met them. I can't think of her name. It was a couple years ago, and she gave me a sticker. It was a really cute, like, hand-drawn nug.
I love that.
And I'm like, of course, a woman would, this would be kind of her marketing materials. But you made such a great point about, those who maybe want to work in cannabis, people who want to get closer to it and make it their, make it that thing that powers their engine. They still go to work in their CPA, but they're working for a cannabis company, right? And it's totally game changing, right? Wouldn't you say? I mean, I could be a janitor for a cannabis company, and it would be a different kind of janitorial job, right?
And cannabis is the fastest growing job creating industry in the US right now. There are more jobs being created in the cannabis industry than anything else right now. And that's just going to continue to grow.
Right. So you got to meet the companies that are making the big moves and find out how you can help, and contribute. Awesome. Okay. So one last question.
Okay.
And this is one of my faves. What advice do you have for your 13-year-old self?
Oh boy. I think number one, don't give up. Number two, work hard. And number three, just be kind to yourself. I think at 13, I was really just so hard on myself. Like I hated the way I looked. I hated, how you are when you're 13. And now I'm in my 50s and I think what I wouldn't give to have that 20-year-old body again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? It's
yes,
like,
I do.
And at 20, I looked at myself and I was like, oh, I don't like this. My legs are too skinny. My butt is too flat. My boobs are too small. All the things you think about yourself when you're that age.
Yeah. We judge ourselves so harshly.
I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And really, maybe that's what it is. Like you are enough. However you are enough. Just be you,
Yeah, that's powerful. You are enough and you are here. You didn't ask to be brought here, but you are here. And what kind of an impact are you gonna leave? I would like to say that to my 13-year-old self. You are here, but you are enough. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's like stress dissipates when I hear that and when I say that. Even as 42, it's like you are enough.
I mean, I still feel like that in my 50s. Like I feel like, I don't always know what I'm doing in this job. It's always something new. It's always something different. And partly because it is like the industry is so new and evolving so quickly that things, things just come up and I'm like, I have no idea how to do this. I don't know how to do this,
Yeah, I don't know, but I will find out.
But then I'm like, okay, well, I have to do it. So let's figure it out.
Yeah, nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, nobody else is going to do it for you. Never have truer words been spoken.
For sure.
So there you go. Get out there. The job is yours, Angela.
Right. With our company, like there's 5 or 6 of us, so it's not like there's a lot of us.
Right. Yeah. Same with ours. We have 4 full-time and a bunch of freelancers who are great people, but it's like, we have to do all the things. And that's okay. That's okay. Wouldn't have it any other way. We're building great, it's when you're building something great, you got to be as hands-on as possible. So
we talk about it a lot because we recently hired one of my sons and he works with us now in the Seattle office, and it's great. But it's like the more shows we have, I feel like eventually we're going to have to break down and hire more people. But then you get nervous being such a small family run business and having so much control over everything. Like it makes you a little nervous to kind of give up that control and trust other people that they're going to have the same love and the same passion for your business as you do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's different for you. It's not just a job for you. This is a calling. This is your legacy, and bringing somebody in can be very, very, very stressful, but I know that you will find the right people who feel as strongly and as passionate about what you're doing as you do, and will feel pride in having the opportunity to help build this incredible company to, far beyond the US, internationally. I mean, those people are out there who want to help you build this dream. And, hopefully some of them are listening to this podcast and, we'll reach out and just, be insane about convincing you that they're the right person for your team. Okay, so Angela, how can people find you and where can people find you next?
So we will be in Oklahoma, March 31st and April 1st. We're so excited for this show. So excited for this show. We have, like I said, we've got Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan. We've got the Pop Brothers at Law, the nicest guys. Love those guys.
Heroes, heroes,
They're,
heroes.
they're the best. Redman will be there in one of our exhibitors' booths hanging out. There's tons of after parties. So that's Oklahoma. And you can find us at CannaCon.org. You can buy tickets. You can look at the seminar schedules. You can look at the show floor map and see what all exhibitors are going to be there and kind of plan your day. We have tickets on sale at the door at the convention center as well. But tickets go up the day of. So it's always better to buy ahead of time.
Always better to buy ahead of time. Also, buy your ticket and then buy 3 other tickets. Yes. Truly, because you want to bring friends. You're not going to be able to do it all on your own.
No, and you don't want to go alone. It's way more fun if you have people with you. Also, we're doing a giveaway. Now I'm trying to remember how many people we're doing. We're doing a giveaway. And the first, I do believe, 1,000 people each day that come in are going to get a raffle ticket. And we're giving away a whole $1,500 grow setup, tent, light, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
So
and it's
one lucky winner is going to go home with that.
That is so incredible. It's so incredible. So it's like, it's also incentivizing people to get there early because it's going to get crowded. You think you have a plan, but let me tell you, when you go to these, these big cannabis conventions, the plans go out the window. They really do. But if you get there early, you can maybe execute on a little bit of your plan.
Yeah, I think so. And we have seminars starting right at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we start ticketing at 9 a.m., which allows those people to kind of get in and get through the door and get seated in their seminars before.
Good.
So if you want to hit a 10 a.m. seminar, make sure you show up at 9 so you can start getting through that line.
Absolutely. Okay. So you start ticketing at 9, seminars start at 10. Seminars, so cool. Can you give me a little bit of information on the seminars, what attendees can expect?
So we have seminars that range lots of different topics. Mm-hmm. We have one this year that's fun. We're doing a seed planting workshop where you're going to go through the whole process of planting a seed and you get to go home with your own little potted plant, which is fun.
It's so fun. Oh my gosh.
We have a seminar on nanotechnology. We have a seminar on taxes and accounting, which is always boring, but always important and busy. I mean, honestly, our accounting and taxing seminars are sometimes some of the busiest ones because taxation in this industry is a nightmare. Right. So very complicated. Yeah. We've got seminars on how to pick the proper equipment the first time. So if you're going to go spend, $60,000, $70,000 on some large extraction equipment, you want to make sure that you're buying something that you're not going to have to replace a year from now because maybe you've outgrown that,
Right. Yeah. These are big investments. And yeah, it's definitely unfortunate when people, plunk down that money and then they find, a year later that it's just not meeting their needs. And then there's new technology and good point. That's okay. Proper equipment for the first time. Perfect. Oh my gosh. I love this. I am so excited, Angela. And, we could not be prouder to be media partners of CannaCon OKC. It's as I said, for a long time, I've been hearing about CannaCon. People will just rave about it. We're like, we got to go the next time it's in OKC. And then just having that added, I think, element of being able to bring our camera operators in and really help to tell the story for the people who aren't able to make it to the event. I mean, to us, that is that's an honor to be able to do that, to be able to share this information to the people who can't make it to the event. And that's always how we see our coverage, whatever we're doing. And so they can see why they are going to the next event as well, if you get what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of FOMO in our media that we're putting out there.
So excited to have you guys come. I was actually just telling my son who works for the company yesterday because I was editing some old video to do a promo
You were editing it?
Yeah,
Send it.
I was just rolling through it,
Yeah, sure. If you need to send stuff though, Angela,
Yeah.
just feel free. You can send stuff and we'll do stuff.
Anyways,
Sorry.
I was telling him, I was like, I can't wait to get new video because I feel like I'm just editing the same clips, to make different things out of them. And I'm so excited to get this new video. And Oklahoma is such a good spot for us to do it. I feel like I really love that show. Michigan, our next show after Oklahoma, our Detroit show. I can't tell you how much I love Michigan. The nicest people in the world. We did our first Michigan show. We had just finished a show in Boston, which was nice too. Mm. Then we go to Michigan and literally people see our name badges and see what we're doing. And they're like high-fiving us on the street. Like the best people in Detroit.
Oh gosh. We're going to have to come to that one. Absolutely. Because I haven't been to Detroit in a couple years and I would agree with you. They are so kind and excited about the new industry and excited to, growers are excited to show what they got and consumers are excited to smoke it. So it's a really beautiful thing to have in Michigan. What are the dates of the Michigan show? So OKC is March 31st and April 1st. Get there on the 30th. Get comfortable, get ready to just immerse yourself in OKC CannaCon. So when is Michigan? So
we have Michigan in July.
Okay.
And then Chicago in August. And then we will be in Denver in September and Virginia in October.
Wow. Oh my God. Incredible. You guys are all over the place, helping growers, helping people discover this incredible industry that everybody has a place in if they choose it. And you guys are awesome. You're like the traveling cannabis roadshow.
I kind of feel like it.
Truly, I cannot wait to get there, Angela, and can't wait to give you a big hug for all the hard work that you're doing for this industry and just opening people's eyes to the just magic and just magic is all I'm going to say. You're opening people's eyes to the magic of cannabis industry.
We're excited about it. I'm ready for every state to be legal. I'm ready for us to be able to do these in every region of the United States where everybody has access to safe cannabis, because that's the other thing that happens once you legalize, then then this product is going through testing. It's going through, these proper processes of being packaged and tested and then sold, and you always know what you're going to get. Unlike a lot of times, everybody talks about, the fentanyl in the weed or whatever, which I think is a very tiny problem, but people make a huge thing out of it. But you know what? If you legalize and somebody's going to the dispensary, you're never going to have that problem.
No, exactly. I am so glad that you made that point, because I think legalization for people who are undereducated, I think that word scares them a lot. They think, oh man, somebody actually commented on one of our posts, which I think is crazy because you know who we are and what we stand for. But somebody commented, oh, so you want a druggy park. I don't want some drug park popping up across the street from my house. And I said, I would love a cannabis park popping up the street from my house, down the street from my house, because it's just kind people taking walks in nature. It's not, I want medicine that I know where it came from and I know is clean and I can predict the results. Like that's what we're talking about when we talk about legalization, as you said. So yeah, you know what? I'm happy to push this boulder up the hill with you, Angela. I really am. I'm not going anywhere. I know you're not either.
I think it's going to take a lot of us pushing, but I think we'll get there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for this. I think next time we talk, I'm going to mic you up at CannaCon.
All right. And I'll see you at South by Southwest next week.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's right. If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminized podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminized with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors, Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater.
Feminized podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Dennis Ray, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.